Welcome to the carnage.
And welcome back to the Carnage. I'm Mr. Carnage, and today we're going to go over some videos that I've seen over the last 2 weeks as the political climate has kind of gotten what I like to call chaotic, where we're starting to see just an abundance of different bullshit. No other way to put it, bullshit. Um, so most of these videos are going to be kind of different from each other. But it does paint a story, and then what that story is more or less what you're going to see from the side of what I like to call the woke crazy right now. Trying to be as non-biased as I can. I have looked for videos that would be similar to the ones that I found, and they're just not there. And I'm not saying that one side does it and the other side doesn't do it. What I am saying is that currently in the political climate that we're in right now, one side definitely outweighs the other when it comes to this crazy. So that's what today is about. And before we begin, I just wanted to throw out another thank you for you guys, for the comments and for the likes and the subs and everything. You guys are amazing, and I really do appreciate you. And let's go ahead and get into it.
Here's what's happening. We are watching in real time as conservative women are figuring out that this most recent election win has taken away from them every semblance of a victim or persecution narrative that they thought they had. This is why they're coming to TikTok telling us that liberal women are threatening to beat them up and steal their men. Clearly, they are just out of other options.
Again, so no, I've actually seen these videos of these liberal women saying things on the lines of, your husband doesn't want some frumpity bitch, and he'd much rather have, me who will be willing to do this, that, or the other, and I'm going to steal your husband. All right. So I have seen those videos. And so technically these women do have a point to say that these women are purposely trying to steal conservative men, which is funny because when you look at this survey where they did, I think it was back in like 2023, where they asked liberal women who their boyfriends' husbands were, a lot of them, it was like in 60%, 58%, somewhere in there, I don't remember the exact number, were with conservative men. So even liberal women don't like soy boys, and they still try to go after conservative men, even though they do not align with them politically. So that's strike one.
And while this is all really funny, I want us, particularly white, feminist, liberal women, to think about something, okay? Because as much as these white conservative women love to pretend like they are being victimized,
that's the funniest shit that I think I've ever heard. I'm not seeing conservative women in droves on TikTok screaming in the face of anybody that walks by. I'm not seeing them, screaming "my body, my choice" with fucking a nose ring and rainbow hair. So playing the victim, I think you might want to rephrase that, lady. I'm gonna have to go with strike two.
they really hate it when they actually are. And the truth is that if this administration holds true to the things that it campaigned on, that they're promising to do, and that these women and their husbands voted for, those women are about to be in for a very rude awakening. Because it's not just liberal women who have life-threatening pregnancies where abortion is the only option. It's not only liberal women who are having queer and trans kids.
All right, gonna have to stop you there, lady. We are seeing, though, from one side specifically, including celebrities, that not only is one of their child a gay or trans, but all of their children is. So you tell me how you're going to come out here and say we're not the only ones having these kids. Okay, now that may be true. I'm not saying there's not a conservative family out there that doesn't have, a gay son or a lesbian daughter or whatever, but we're not seeing that in mass numbers like you guys, on the other hand, where it's like, I've got 6 kids. One's binary, the other's gender fluid. I got 2 trans, one's a lesbian. Like, we're not seeing that. So, enough.
It's not our husbands and elected officials who are having affairs with underage women and then paying for their abortions.
All right, let me stop you there. We're also seeing in the news way more liberal women teachers that are having underage sexual relationships with students between the ages of 12 and 15. That is not, a fake number. That is a fact. Be more than happy to look it up. I bet you can go look right now. And within the last 30 days, there's been a teacher caught that was between the ages of 20 and 28 years old using their position of power as a teacher on a male student at school. I bet you. I'll even wait. Go. I guarantee you're going to find at least one.
While campaigning against abortions. These conservative white women are suffering under patriarchy the same way we are. The only difference is they haven't woken up to that yet. Or they see it, but they believe that by carrying water for patriarchy, they're going to get a drink when the rest of us don't.
Oh my God. It's so funny. The fucking same feminist talking points, they never change. No matter how many times we debunk the pay gap, no matter how many times we debunk fucking the patriarchy, no matter how many times we show these fools on paper with fucking purple crayon, right, with arrows and sticky notes and like fucking diagrams, they're still like, the patriarchy. They just spill the same fucking regurgitated bullshit over and over and over again. And these people will never wake up. They're completely brainwashed. They're clueless. They don't care to listen to actual facts and reality. What they want to listen to is whatever fits their fucking feminist narrative agenda. And if it's outside of that, they don't want to hear it. They don't care. Or they're going to say that's not true, and they have no facts to debunk it, which is, the whole point of it, having a debate and an argument with a person.
But we're already seeing that that's not going to happen. We're watching Marjorie Taylor Greene have an absolute meltdown on Twitter, threatening to expose all of her male Republican colleagues for their sexual misconduct that taxpayer money was used to cover up, because she's realizing that she's not getting a cabinet appointment, even after all that water she's been carrying for Trump.
Is this the video that was AI and debunked? Is that the video she's talking about? I'm almost positive that's the video she's talking about.
She's looking around and realizing, wait a minute, I'm only seeing rich white men get positions. I thought I was in line.
Ben Carson, I could have swore he was black. I didn't know he was white. Holy shit. That's news to me.
And our white conservative female friends and family members and neighbors are going to be coming to this realization too. They have bought into this exceptionalist idea that they will be the women who are protected from all of the consequences from their vote. They've looked around at their racist and sexist fathers and their husbands' racist and sexist fathers, and they've told themselves, well, not my husband. My husband isn't like that. And they're going to find, as this administration makes those men feel more comfortable to share how they actually feel, that their husbands are in fact worse than their fathers.
Wow. Just imagine the level of fucking just ass hattery in that whole entire statement, right? She assumes that every conservative man on the planet is a racist, misogynist jerk, right? And I guarantee in her head, when she thinks a conservative, she probably thinks of some guy in a fucking wife beater who like comes home from working from the mines and he's pissed off that his wife cooked tuna casserole for like the third time that week and he just knocks her teeth in, right? Like, I guarantee you that is what she pictures when she hears the word conservative man. I guarantee it.
And when they come to that realization, they're going to have nobody. They're going to have no community. They can't turn to their husbands to talk about this. They're not going to know who's safe. And they're going to see how we're behaving, us feminist, liberal white women are behaving online.
Yeah, we've seen it. You guys screaming and yelling and ranting and raving and cheering on the murder and unaliving of a fucking human being. Yeah, we saw it. We've all seen it. So I'm not sure that conservative women are going to want to, I don't know, go to you for some type of advice or comfort when you are 3,000 times more crazier than they ever will be.
And they're going to realize that we're not people they can come to either. But that's not going to stop them from finding someone to come to looking for comfort and support. And guess who that's going to be? This is just not one of those things that black women should be expected to have to shoulder, you know?
Wow. Just the level of fucking black women. She just goes from, conservative misogynist men to So black women are going to have to carry this problem. Just wow. Just wow. The fucking, oh my God. I don't got words. I ain't got words. And she's calling one side of the aisle racist, and that's her. Just wow.
What I mean, I think it's time for us liberal feminist white women to start preparing ourselves for the reality that we are going to need to gather our people when this begins to happen. We are going to need to be the ones who collect them, who give them support to some degree, and then work towards unindoctrinating them. That has to be our work, because those are our kin, like it or not. So I don't know, and this is for me too. This is a call in for me too. We have to think about what we're putting out online right now, because if we're sending the message that we are not accessible to these conservative white women when they finally wake up to what's going on, they're going straight to black women, and that's just not something that we should let happen.
Just a level of racism in that whole fucking. She doesn't even realize it. That's the funny part. She just is like, well, we can't have these white women going to black women and looking for support with them, because then they might turn these conservative women more black. Is that your fear? Are you afraid that they're, going to start doing what exactly? Disliking you more because of your your racist undertone? Like, just the level of fucking ass hattery it just pales in comparison to anything I think I've seen in a while. Oh my God.
Guys, we need to talk about something that feels less like reality and more like a dystopian movie. You know those films where regular people get marked, hunted, and destroyed without due process? That's what's happening right now. Except it isn't on the big screen. It's here, it's real, and it's aimed at ordinary people. So, after the death of a political figure, a website has appeared. And it's not just reporting news, it's collecting names, jobs, even personal details of citizens who have made comments online, and then publishing those details for the world to see. Let's call it what it is. Not accountability, but...
No, let's actually call it what it is. You're right, it isn't accountability. Because you all decided to go online and make these horrible comments about somebody's life being taken from them, and you're being held accountable by other people, the middle and the right, for those heinous comments. And now you want to play the victim because your names and your, employment was put online to try to get you fired for the horrible crap that you say. We don't want people like that in our community. Sorry. I know that really upsets you and it really pisses you off, but that's just the way it is. We don't want you as teachers teaching our children. We don't want you as doctors. We don't want you in any kind of public fucking facing anything, because you are evil, horrible people.
A witch hunt, and this witch hunt has a name. Private citizens are being put on public hit lists, and once your information's on that site, you don't get to defend yourself. You don't get context. You don't get due process. You just get branded. Now think.
Well, due process went out the window when you decided that it was time to start cheering again for the unaliving of a human being, for being immoral, for being heinous, for being evil. And I don't think that it's a far stretch here to say that most people, at least normal thinking people, really don't want to see that type of content. We don't want to see those types of comments. And honestly, if the tables were turned, I guarantee you guys would still be playing the victim. It doesn't matter if you guys are the cause or if you are the one receiving. You play victims every time, no matter what. And it's old.
Think about the purge for a second. We've all seen it in that story. Once the sirens went off, anyone could become a target. No questions asked. And that's the energy this carries. Teachers, nurses, parents, cashiers, people who never imagined they'd be in danger are suddenly treated like villains in someone else's story. And just like in those movies, once a target list exists, mobs take over.
It's not somebody else's story. It's your story. You guys woke up and decided to make your, evil intentions public. Okay, so let's not, say that this was a private endeavor. I could understand if you wrote it on a piece of paper, something heinous, and you had it in your back pocket, and it got leaked and you were, in trouble for it. It's like Gruden, right? With his emails that got leaked, by the NFL, right? Those were private emails and they got leaked and he got in trouble and he was removed from the NFL, right? So, how is this any different than that? You went publicly with your statements and your horrible comments and you got called out for it and now you want to play victim.
People lose jobs overnight. Families live in fear. The truth doesn't matter. Once your name is out there, you're guilty in the eyes of the crowd. We don't have to agree with every colorful or disrespectful comment that people make online. But listen, turning private citizens into public targets is something we cannot allow to become normal, because history shows us exactly what happens when societies embrace blacklists and public shaming campaigns. MacArthurism, the Red Scare, times when neighbors turned on neighbors and lives were ruined without proof, without fairness.
Okay, well, the difference between the two there, jackass, is one was that, yes, during the Red Scare, a lot of people's names were leaked for being, attributed to communism. I agree that specific event was definitely a witch hunt. This isn't a witch hunt because you publicly came the fuck out online for the whole world to see your dumbass face screaming and cheering and laughing and making horrible content about the loss of a human life. There's no correlation there. They're not even in the fucking same realm, you jackass.
Out mercy. And here's the danger no one wants to say out loud. Once you normalize doxing like this, violence, it follows.
Oh my God, with the doxing. Oh, I am so tired. Okay, for the last time, people, doxing is brute force getting information, meaning I, hacked into a public domain like your patient records, for example, at a hospital, and I got your information that way. Your information that is public facing, that is out in the public, is not doxing. For the last fucking time, I am so tired of hearing that fucking word from people. I'm being doxed. No, you have public facing information. And by the way, just throwing this out there, you as a private citizen can contact a data broker. Okay, what a data broker does is these are people who are basically sold your information, whether it's from Best Buy, whether it's from Walmart, whether it's from Amazon. It doesn't matter. Your information gets sold for pennies on the dollar, and these people hold that information and they sell it to the top fucking bidder. I could go right now and buy your information for $3.50.
Suicides rise when people feel trapped, humiliated, and hopeless. Violence rises when someone decides they've been given permission to take justice into their own hands. Words on a website spill into actions on the street. Movies like The Purge or even The Hunger Games were meant to be warnings, people, not instructions. Yet here we are watching those plots play out in real life. Ordinary.
Okay, I will agree with one part. Yes, I agree with taking it any further than getting these people, fired or letting their family know what kind of evil pieces of shit they are. That's where it should end. It should not end in hunting these people down and hurting these people or doing anything violent. I agree with that. That should not happen, but I haven't heard, at least yet, I haven't heard any instance where that's happened. It's just been mostly people losing their employment for being jackasses.
People aren't supposed to be hunted. They aren't supposed to be targets. But once society accepts that practice, it doesn't stop. It spreads. And one day the person on that list, it could be you. So no, we don't have to agree with every comment people post online, but we also can't agree with turning our neighbors into targets, because the moment we do, we are no longer living in a democratic republic. We're living inside a dystopian film, and the ending to those stories, it is never, ever good. If you appreciate stories like this, be sure to follow me, and I will see you guys.
Again, I will say the other thing about her video that really irritated me is how she was talking about, private citizens. Okay, you're not private when you're posting things public, right? That's not private. That's being, I'm putting this out for the entire world on the internet to see. And her basically not showing any remorse for public figures, right? We shouldn't be hunting private, citizens down, but you also shouldn't be purposely targeting public figures either, aka Charlie Kirk. So you can tell that she had absolutely no reservation whatsoever about what happened to him, but she's mad because I'm assuming that either A, she or somebody she knows was one of those people that lost their job.
A lot of liberals are starting to threaten me and dox me and say that they know where I live, and if I come out to another protest, I'm going to be dealt with. But I have a lot of MAGA family, and I'm not scared. I'm not backing down, and I wish y'all would do something. Well, I'm not going to try to escalate things, but look, I don't go there to troll liberals. I really don't. Every time I went, I try to have peaceful conversation. Y'all were the ones that wanted to keep, like, fighting and shit. So I'm more than willing to have peaceful conversations with liberals. But if you come on there to, like, start shit, I'm gonna, like, you know, I'm gonna stick up for myself. But, yeah, guys.
So, reason I added that video after the video that you saw before was to kind of show you that, again, with the doxing, right? I don't know why people keep using this information, or saying this word, I should say, because that's not doxing. If they're getting your information non-brute force, meaning, you know, hacking, stealing it, you know, something of that nature, it's not doxing. It's just your public facing, you know, details, right? I mean, it is what it is. But the other reason I showed that was, as you can see, she's a private citizen. She, you know, if you're using that logic, right, she's posting online, sure, but theoretically, she's a private citizen as far as that other lady was concerned. So why is the left, you know, threatening to do harmful things to her just because she doesn't share the same belief that they do?
This message is for all the ICE agents out there today. When Donald Trump's reign of terror is over, we will be rounding you all up and putting you in jail. We're going to raid and destroy your homes. We're going to handcuff you and take you away in front of your families for breaking the Constitution of the United States of America.
So there you go. More of this. We're going to physically and violently do something against you because we don't agree with what you're doing or your beliefs or what you said or whatever, right? And here's the thing. Like I said, I tried to be very non-biased about this video, but it was very hard for me to find, and trust me, I looked for similar videos to compare the two, right? I was really having a hard time finding those videos. And well, anything that's at least recent. I mean, there's videos from, like, you know, 8 years ago, which does, in my opinion, do not play any kind of role in the political climate we're in today. So, you know, shit that happened 8 years ago isn't going to play much of a role in what's going on in this modern, you know, issue that we have.
To borrow a line from a friend of mine, oh, for fuck's sakes, do you stupid fucks bother doing any kind of research before you open your big mouths? ICE are federal law enforcement officers, and their authority to arrest is derived under Section 287 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, which was voted on by Congress and signed by a president, making it constitutional. Dumbass. Furthermore, ICE also has the same arrest authority as any other law enforcement officer, meaning that if they have probable cause and reasonable articulable suspicion, they can initiate an arrest without a warrant.
That's why we hold cameras to your face, so that we can have facial recognition for when Donald Trump's out of office. Because the tables are gonna turn on you. Me personally, I'll fight a fucking ICE agent. There's nothing illegal of that. They are.
Again, oh my God, just the level of stupidity. Okay, so whether you agree with what ICE does or you don't, that is irrelevant, right? As of right this minute, ICE agents are considered federal agents. Therefore, fighting them, jackass, would constitute a federal fucking crime, which would then be enforced by punishable offense, as in going to fucking court and then doing jail time, if not longer than that, going to prison. So, again, fuck, people are stupid. I live in a country full of fucking idiots. That's what it is.
Hiding their faces. They could be criminals. I'll take my chances in court.
Now, I just love how you beta cucks like to sit back and talk about, I will fight an ICE officer. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You'd be too busy pissing yourself when one was standing in front of you. So why don't you shut the fuck up about that? Look, idiot. You having a fuck ton of followers doesn't make you smart, and it sure as shit doesn't make you brave. Know your fucking role, learn your fucking place, and don't talk about shit you don't understand. We're done.
And we're not going to let anyone or anything tear America apart. I'll close with this. We're at a serious moment in our nation's history. The MAGA Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and economic security. They're a threat to our very democracy. They refuse to accept the will of the people. They embrace political violence. They don't believe in democracy. This is why, in this moment, those of you who love this country, Democrats, independents, mainstream Republicans, we must be stronger, more determined, and more committed to saving America than the MAGA Republicans are destroying America.
The reason I added that was just so you could see the rhetoric, right? So those are dangerous words. They're basically saying that, anybody who believes in MAGA, right, and as far as Republicans go, he did throw in mainstream Republicans, which I think there's only like one left, which is Dick Cheney's daughter. Most of them have more or less unified under the same, I don't want to say MAGA, but they've unified under the same goal. So saying that half of the country are basically fucking terrorists and that, we need to step up and do something to save democracy, you're basically giving these people the rhetoric that they need to go, oh, well, I'm saving America by doing something, violent or horrible to these people. That is dangerous. That is exactly why we are in the goddamn fucking position we are in right now.
This is where we are now as a country. Scott Jennings, conservative commentator who appears on CNN, has had his life threatened by Keith Olbermann, who warned that he was next. This is 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Not even 1 week, only a few days after an ABC station was just shot at, and a man said, "You're next," to Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Dan Bongino. And now Keith Olbermann is doing this exact thing. I am going to come outright and say it. Keith Olbermann needs to be arrested.
I 100% agree. And that's the thing about Tim Pool is him, like me, is in the middle. We're moderates, right? We're not on the left. We're not on the right. But we are trying in the hardest way possible to be non-fucking biased about this shit. But it's so hard when one side is doing, the majority of the bullshit in this country than the other, right? And so 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, we've had, I don't know how many threats for public figures. I mean, Asmongold's been threatened. Even Shoe on Head, which she's a liberal, got threatened. Tim Pool's been threatened. The list just goes on and on and on, right? So I'm not seeing that on the other side. I'm not seeing threats on AOC or Umar or any of these other fucking people. I'm not seeing those type of threats there, right? So, again, one side is doing the majority of this political violence than the other, so that you're getting pointed out. And I know that most of you on the left are like, well, that's not fair. You're being biased. I'm not. If there was more, shit going on the right now, I'd be reporting on that. I would be giving my opinions on that. It's just not happening. The only thing I'm seeing on the right is unification over what happened to Charlie Kirk, and that a lot of people are mourning and really upset with, what's going on the left with this increased level of hostility, violence, threats, cheering on somebody's demise, etc.
We cannot tolerate this anymore. Now, I am biased because I have received numerous posts saying I'm next as well. So I know what it's like. We, of course, have forwarded these threats to the FBI. I believe the FBI should go and arrest Keith Olbermann right now for making terroristic threats. And we should send a message to all people. I don't care, left, right, up, down, top, whatever. Do not threaten people with death.
Exactly. Nobody should be doing that. Nobody should be threatening anybody, period, with ending their life because you do not agree with their political position, their religious position, their gender, their sexual identity, any other fucking stupid ass label or reason that you could possibly put on a person. There should be none of that. Nobody deserves to lose their life over anything other than if they committed a crime that was heinous and they get the death penalty, where that comes down through a fucking court of law, right? That means they went to trial, and a jury of their peers found them guilty. And by the way, it's not just even a judge that says, okay, I'm going to give this person the death penalty. It also comes from the juror. They ask that jury when they do the reading what level of punishment the jury feels that this person deserves. And you've had juries where they have said that we don't feel that this person deserves the death penalty. So they vote on that. They vote on whether this person gets the death penalty. There's been trials where one person was like, I'm not going to go on with, the death penalty. So 11 jurors voted for it. One juror did not, even though they convicted him and he was guilty as shit. Right. So there you go. Leave it in the realm of justice, not vigilante.
We cannot tolerate it anymore. Now, to be honest, it's largely a phenomenon of the left. And that's why the story here is conservative faces death threat from liberal. But Keith Olbermann really exemplifies the psychotic delusion that is the left death cult. I'm going to show you why, but first, let's read the story. Mediaite reports Scott Jennings forwards Keith Olbermann threat to the FBI after former MSNBC host warns he's next. CNN political contributor Scott Jennings brought one of Keith Olbermann's social media posts to the attention of the FBI on Monday after Olbermann warned him, "You're next, mother effer," in a since deleted thread. "You're next, mother effer, but keep mugging the camera," wrote Olbermann, according to town hall columnist Dustin Grage, who captured a screenshot of the since deleted post. Well, the message appeared to be a threat to take Jennings off television. Really? With another post reading, "Now we get the fascists off real TV. That didn't mean your career is next, Jennings." Jennings and many other social media users interpreted the comments as a violent threat mere weeks after the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Reacting to a screenshot of the post shared by Grage, Jennings tagged FBI Director Kash Patel. Let's slow this down real quick and break it down. "Now we get the fascists off real TV." Who? Who's been fired? Nobody. What do you mean the context is his career? Jimmy Kimmel's not a fascist, according to these people, right? He's not a conservative. So why would this be in the context of career? At a time when Charlie Kirk has just been murdered, and if you search "You're next," you will see walls and walls of death threats, making reference to ending people's lives.
Exactly. And that whole story was, again, if he was doing it in the context of career, Jimmy Kimmel wasn't fired. He was suspended. He has since gone back to work. So that doesn't line up. That doesn't make any sense. And he's exactly right. If you go look at that, "You're next," there is just video after video of, like I said, I mean, I named a few: Asmongold, Shoe on Head, Tim Pool. I mean, just the list goes on. And even just normal, YouTubers like Liberal Hive Mind and these people who don't even have a face to their videos like I do, where I don't put my face out there, they're even having threats.
Period. She said, "Oh my God!"
If you guys didn't hear that, she basically said, "I hope your baby doesn't have a long life," right? So this is a liberal woman sitting outside in Arizona where the Charlie Kirk Memorial was, and this is what she decided to do with her time.
The contrast between what just happened here versus what's happening inside the Charlie Kirk Memorial, I think, is giving us a glimpse as to what direction TPUSA is going to go with Erica Kirk as the CEO. Let me explain. Over the last few years, we have seen that men have been leaning more and more conservative. And I think Charlie Kirk had a lot to do with that. He reached men on the issues that mattered to them, and he gave them permission to be men again.
I'm going to cut in there. That might be true. I'm not saying that Charlie Kirk might not have had something to do with some men, going conservative for sure. But I think more than anything, the reason why men are definitely leaning more conservative or are full-blown conservative is because the Democratic Party no longer serves their interests, period. The left no longer, in any way, shape, or form, has any relevance to men's issues. If you're not, part of the alphabet mafia, if you're not, a minority, if you're not, a feminist woman, you're not in any of these, categories or subcategories, you don't matter to them. And so for a lot of men, the Democratic Party left them. It wasn't the other way around. They were still stuck there in the middle, like myself, a moderate, right? I had views here, I had views there. But the Democratic Party went so far left that they completely left most men that had the type of thinking right there in the middle, where it's like you look right, your friend is standing there, you look left, your friend is standing there, you look right again, they're still kind of close, you look left and the dude's like 2 blocks down. That's what happened.
And to want to be masculine and to want to take care of homes and families and to give them direction towards success. But women have been increasingly hostile and almost impossible to reach. But with Erica Kirk on the same mission to keep Charlie Kirk's work going, I think that she is the one that's going to reach women and give them permission to be women again, to break down their barriers when it comes to their relationship with God.
I mean, I wish I could believe that, but I honestly don't think that is going to play much of a role. I feel like the feminist brainwashing has been just so utterly complete that these women, no matter what Erica Kirk says, and she seems like a lovely woman, and, my heart goes out to her. I'm so sorry for her loss. I really am. I don't even know what she's going through right now, but I wish her nothing but the best. And I hope that her career as the CEO of Turning Point is a good one. I hope nothing happens to her, especially, because of her kids. I mean, I wouldn't know where to begin if I was a child and I found out that both my parents were deleted because of their political beliefs. That would be, I don't know, a villain story above villain stories, I suppose. But I don't see that happening. I think that feminist women, specifically on the left, liberal women, they are never, ever, ever going to see the light until they hit the wall. And the wall is unfucking defeated. The wall is when they finally hit that and they realize that their biological clock is gone and they live in an apartment with fucking 15 cats and they have nobody in their life but themselves. That's the wall. And when they hit that, that's when they finally are like, you know what? The decisions I made leading up to this point might not have been a good idea.
To stop hating men and stop trying to be men. And I honestly think that what she is capable of doing absolutely terrifies the Democrats. So what does this have to do with the little incident that we just saw play out? Well, I think it draws a stark contrast between what liberalism offers women versus what conservatism does. For liberalism, you have this woman sitting outside with a truly heinous sign screaming at other women that she hopes their baby dies because they disagree, versus Erica Kirk, who was inside at a memorial for her assassinated husband, forgiving the man who took his life, demonstrating what true female empowerment and grace and integrity and empathy and compassion look like. She's also demonstrating that no one is a victim unless you choose to be. And I think that maybe God is looking at Erica Kirk and saying, all right, your husband brought me back my sons. Now it's your turn. You've got to bring me back my daughters.
Again, I mean, best wishes to Erica Kirk. I hope that she does, for sure, reach some women and help them, realize that the far left feminist agenda is not good for women or men, really. I mean, it's not good for anybody. It's not good for children. It's not good for anybody, because feminism's whole point is to destroy the American family. They want to be men, they want to take power from men, and at the end of the day, that was the playbook from start. There, if you go look it up, and a simple Google search will do it, the very first bylaws of feminism that were written down on paper was, what can we do to destroy the American family? And that is making women more, sexually open, right? And then what can we do to take power from men? And then what can we do with that power to subjugate men using sex? That was the playbook. And go look it up. That's all I got to say. But other than that, guys, that's really all I have today. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the video, hit like, hit the subscribe button. Always come check out for more. I'm trying to keep a community together here, and I'm always trying to be very engaging with you guys as much as possible, replying to comments and telling you what I think. Love to hear what you guys think, and I will catch you all in the next video.